The last 4 years has been an unprecedented spike in the smuggling of succulent plants. Tens of thousands of these rare and what can be described as quirky species are leaving South Africa. Many of those targeted are endemic to a single site, making them very vulnerable to extinction through the poaching of these plants. So we all know where they end up, of course, with traffickers. They end up going to collectors overseas. Asia seems to be a big problem. Let's find out why it's so bad and what can we try and do about this and what the damage is to the environment. Ismail Ebrahim is a scientist from the South African National Biodiversity Institute. Ismail, good morning to you. Let's just first of all start here. When we talk about these succulent plants, what kind of plants are we talking about and why is it illegal?
Hi, good morning. So the succulent plants are plants that are adapted to live in very arid environments. They have sometimes succulent leaves or succulent stems. South Africa has a immense diversity of succulent plants, and many are very unique to our country. And so the species that have been targeted at the moment are really the dwarf succulents, of which we have many species. And also geophytic species, species with storage, underground storage, root systems, and thick succulent stem species. The reason why they are being targeted at the moment is really because of the collector trade in the horticultural space. So these plants are very desirable, and because they're so unique, they have unique shapes, unique features, they are very desirable, particularly in the Asian markets at the moment.
So we're going to talk about your thoughts on how it is we can try and protect these plants, trying to protect the biomes that they exist in currently, because I'm sure there's a huge environmental impact on this as well. But help me understand then what it takes to try and protect plants like this, especially over such a large area. I mean, it can't be very easy to do. What's the sort of the solutions we have in place?
Yeah, so one of the important things to remember is that the succulent Karoo biome is one of the global biodiversity hotspots. So it's not only important for our country, but it's globally important, and it's because of this diversity of plant species that we have in the succulent Karoo. So once and these plants, they occur in very specific habitats. And so once those plants are taken from those very special habitats, the ecosystem that exists around those plants, there are knock-on effects, negative knock-on effects of those. So, for instance, the pollinators could suffer because the food plants are not there anymore. But what's really important is that some of these species are so unique and they only occur in 1 or 2 places, and that's the only place in the whole world where they occur. And so
often we see, Ismail, often we see plants beyond the beauty of them. Of course, some of them are beautiful plants, obviously. Medicinal reasons, is that could be a case why we're seeing this spike in exports and this poaching and taking them over to Asia. Is there anything along those lines?
I think most of what's happening at the moment, these plants are being taken out for ornamental purposes. So I think that many people now live in kind of cities, and so they don't have spaces for gardens, and so these plants provide at least some a kind of sense of nature in an apartment block, for example, where you don't have much space to grow or to plant lots of plant species. So because they're small and because they're resilient, they are very popular in the horticultural trade. And so most of the succulent plants that are collected at the moment is purely for ornamental purposes. But that said, we do also have quite high levels of illegal harvesting of plants for the medicinal trade as well.
Ismail, thank you very much indeed. I enjoyed speaking to you as well. A big issue, especially if it's just for ornamental reasons, but it's possibly being pushed to extinction. Thankful to scientists at the South African National Biodiversity Institute, Ismail Ebrahim. It's a market that should not be there in the first place, but clearly it is very, very lucrative.